Mr. Darshan Mundada is a former student of the Maharashtra Institute of Technology, that is MIT Pune, and a Rotary Peace Scholar. He is the Chief Executive Officer of the DBA Consultancy Services. He has always been active in social services and has carried out many activities in this field right since his student days. He feels that any business activity should forge a relationship between nature, environment, and all the social strata. An interesting presentation by Mr. Darshan Mundada.
So as I start thinking of the potential of the World Peace Dome, I recall the words from the inauguration of the dome itself of the speech by the Vice President of India, M. Venkaiah Naidu. I'm going to take the liberty and re-utter two paragraphs that he stated. No one could have articulated it better. M. Venkaiah Naidu on 2nd October 2018, if I'm not wrong, when he inaugurated the World Peace Dome said, "Monuments do not earn their greatness by their design and structure alone. It is the vision behind its creation that matters. This dome is not just a structure made of bricks and cement. It is a beacon of India's rich cultural heritage and the harbinger of light to the lives of many who look to it for solace and peace. I am confident that it will inspire and attract millions of people from all over the world, taking India to new heights of spirituality and humanism." He went on to say, "For centuries, India has been a center of learning and an apostle of peace, and MIT World Peace University has been established on this philosophy. It is focused on being the change that is needed in the world today by sensitizing and understanding the human dimensions of conflict and developing a toolbox for transferable skills such as negotiation, peace building, technology, and management, which enable graduates from various diverse programs to succeed in the peace building." He was actually summarizing the definition of value-based universal education system that Karad sir so fondly speaks of. Reading these lines reminded me of a play, A Walk in the Woods, where fictional diplomats or interlocutors, whatever you wish to call them, enacted by Nasruddin Shah and Rajat Kapoor, representing India and Pakistan, meet all the way in Geneva, Switzerland, to discuss a proposal that will help ease tensions between the two countries. Is India so short of good places where we can do international negotiations? Let's leave the rest story aside. For me, the biggest question is, why do diplomats have to travel all the way to Geneva, Switzerland to do any peace negotiations? Or on similar lines, have you heard of Camp David, which is in United States, the favorite place of American presidents to call presidents from globally and do negotiations? Why do people globally travel to Camp David to do negotiations? Or what is it about Davos that attracts economists every year flying in their private jets, world leader discussing economies? There are set of locations globally, if we look at, that have become torchbearer for their respective fields. Davos for economics, Camp David and Geneva for conflict resolution. Why these locations specifically? I tried to think and I realized all of them have one commonality. They provide an agnostic, neutral venue that is not only rich in its values and culture, but also creates a safe place. In Switzerland, Geneva, there is a protocol by the government where not a single line can be tapped, or not a single phone has two lines where someone else can lift the phone and answer. That's what a diplomat needs. A diplomat needs that confidence that he can do his diplomacy without being overheard. It was only Switzerland, Geneva that offered that, and that's why it became a neutral place. So the potential for me of St. Sri Dnyaneshwara World Peace Dome lays in this aspect of being a neutral, safe space. So for all those who haven't seen Dome, which are very few in this audience, I was going to actually show the video of the Dome, but as I realized all of you have seen the Dome, so let us skip that part and we will move on. But every time I see that video, every time I see that Dome, it makes me speechless. It's actually witnessing the history being made. I don't have to imagine who made Taj Mahal, because I can actually see who's making the Peace Mahal of India. I do pinch myself every single time, but I'm also glad that I have had an opportunity to be a pathik on this journey of this MIT family. Thank you for letting me a part on this journey. So anyway, coming back to our dome and discussing what is the potential of this dome, may I invite you all to close your eyes for a moment. Just close your eyes. Now, imagine the World Peace Dome at Rajbagh. Imagine the tranquility, the serenity that you have been through. Now, imagine Taj Mahal. You don't have to visit it, you've seen enough pictures. Imagine the Taj Mahal, the Sanchi Stupa, or for that matter, the Indian Parliament and the other domes in India. Let us go beyond the boundaries of India to now imagine the domes that I shared earlier, the domes in the Middle East, the domes in Africa and in Europe and in America. Keeping your eyes closed, extend your arms to the person sitting beside you. Hold the palm. And now imagine every dome that's going on in your mind is connected to every other dome, a spider web of threads woven across the globe. Now the spider web of threads is not just threads. They are technologically advanced fiber optic cables. The next speaker is an expert in the space. I've worked a bit in the fiber optic space, but anyway, these are technologically advanced fiber optic cables that can transmit not only words, but thoughts and energies. And each end of this cable, each one of you that is a citizen, each end of this cable is monitored by a conscious citizen, each one of you, who's been educated in the same value-based universal education system, the values of brotherhood, humanity, love, discipline, and mutual respect. Slowly open your eyes. How did your imagination make you feel? It made me feel safe. Imagine a world where this kind of network exists. Is there any potential for conflict? I don't see. If the peoples are as evolved in values as we all are in this campus, probably we'll have a global network of people who are as selfless as the creators of this dome. For me, the World Peace Dome is a structure that has this potential to be the anchor of safe spaces of the world, also enabling its 5 core strengths. The strength of stability, a sense of permanence and existence beyond our own. We will all exist for limited time. The dome is going to go in perpetuity. Neutrality, it is a venue of knowledge and learning, agnostic to the self-interest of any individual. Resiliency, it is defined as the power of ability to return to the original form, position, etc. after being bent. And those who have worked in the space of peace know resiliency makes the impossible possible. Cultural inventory, the 54 statues of the great saints and philosophers act as a constant reminder of our global cultural heritage and commonality, building a sense of pride, providing us with inspiration. And finally, social capital, the ownership of community and society at large, thus making it an asset for one and all. It is these inherent values that make the dome a unique proposition. So while I was exploring the ideas about the dome, I realized I was not expected to give you specifics. I was not expected to tell you we will host this fellowship and that conference, but it was about drawing large ideas. So I went and visited TED Talks, the same TED Talks that Shah Rukh Khan is currently hosting in India, but the mothership of TED Talks, which happens usually in Canada or San Francisco. And I'll just mention 3 speakers of TED Talks. First, Michael Murphy. He's an architect, and he talks about architecture to heal. He speaks of spaces. For him, architecture is more than a clever arrangement of bricks. Considering factors from airflow to light, it is a holistic approach that produces community as beautiful as buildings. He talks about his ambitious plan for the memorial of peace and justice, which he hopes will heal hearts in American South. Interestingly, we already have our own memorial of peace and justice, the World Peace Dome. Could we use it to heal the ruptures in our communities, within our states, and finally within Southeast Asian countries? The second talk is by Aziz Abu Sarah, a Palestinian who proposes a simple idea. For peace, be a tourist. He shows how simple interactions with people in different cultures can erode decades of hate. Imagine the dome becoming an international tourist destination. Hosting these simple interactions between common citizens of India and Pakistan, of Palestine and Israel, of Turkish and Cypriot Greece, of North and South Sudan, what potential does it host? The talk actually reminded me of a Pakistan trip hosted by late parliamentarian Nirmalatai Deshpande, of which Karad sir was also a part. Why else do you think Atal Bihari Vajpayee hosted a trip all the way to Pakistan? It's people-to-people connect that matters. And how do we build that people-to-people connect? When we have monuments that invite us to come and visit. And finally, the third speaker of TED Talk that I heard was Pico Iyer. Pico Iyer, in his talk on the art of stillness, the art of being, emphasizes the importance of having spaces to connect with our inner abilities. The inner stillness, the spaces similar to that dome, the library and the meditation hall which is at the base of that dome. Imagine all these become places of self-connect and self-realization. The three big ideas that I draw for that dome, where the dome has future potential use, are exactly these three ideas. The physical dome, that is the architecture, which is a healing space in itself. The dome as representative of people and thus an anchor of a network that we were earlier. A tourist destination, a destination where people come together and talk to one another. And finally, the aura or the spiritual energy of the dome, that this dome houses and that dome houses too. It becomes a safe space of the mind. We cover the world, we cover the body, and we cover our own mind. What else does a human need for its existence? If we get into semantics, and I have 1.5 minutes and I'll wrap up in that, for me the World Peace Dome is like a peace startup hub, an incubator of sorts, wherein people from across the geography's socio-economical spectrum come and experiment with their own ideas of peace and development. It reminds me of the project of which I have been a student, the Harvard Negotiation Project, wherein tools of conflict mitigation, resolution, and peace enablement were created and now are spread across the globe. Within 1 year of its operations, the World Peace Dome at Loni has already been host to many experiments, from the Parliament of Science, Religion and Spirituality to Media Conclave. Now the opportunity is much bigger to make it home for WPU's flagship events. As I said, I could further enlist n number of ideas to you all that we all can imagine. But for me, one idea, the spider web, and the anchor of that spider web, this dome, is much bigger, that hosts every small idea. I am not going to get into details as I approach my last 45 seconds, but I am once again going to conclude by quoting the Vice President of India, M. Venkaiah Naidu, and his conclusion of the speech. It's interesting how a politician actually spoke so well. On one hand, the world is moving forward at a very fast pace, but on the other hand, it is also experiencing chaos, confusion, bloodshed, and discrimination. The solution to this chaos lies within the thought of this dome, where ideals of all the religions reside together. All religions preach love. This one understanding is sufficient to bring about world peace and brotherhood. India has always been welcoming all religions, cultures, and traditions. In its diversity lies India's strength. This mutual respect and peaceful coexistence is the hallmark of Indian ethos. I pray that this dome and the World Peace Dome at Loni, which symbolizes harmony and peace, is able to inspire a sense of unity and humanity in every single person who enters its premises. And I'll add, may every single individual of not only this country, but around the globe enter the premises of the World Peace Dome as they enter the Taj Mahal. This is me talking, this is no longer the Vice President. While they walk out of the Taj, experiencing just wonderment, here at the World Peace Dome, they'll walk with an enrichment of values, universally accepted values. And that is the true potential of the World Peace Dome, to not only grant pleasure of magnificence, but an experience of microcosm of humanity. Connect us to back who we are, and thus promote world peace. Amen. Thank you.